All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Alex Hutton.
I'm Nick Rossi.
And I'm Ellie Kinney.
We're from the Loyolan sports section, and today we're going to be talking a little NBA basketball with the finals coming up starting tomorrow as of this taping. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat. I guess first things first, anybody here willing to go out on a limb and pick the Heat to win? Anybody wanting to make that bold prediction?
I'm not willing to do that, Alex.
No, you're saying Lakers?
I'll pick the Heat to win.
Yeah?
I'm a Celtics fan, and I watched them decimate my team this past week, but they looked really good. I think what's scary about them is how many different players can make a big impact. It's not just one or two guys, not just Jimmy Butler. It's every game. Someone different is dropping 30 points. It was Tyler Hero one game. It was Bam Adebayo in Game 6. So you never really know what to expect with them. I think I'm not going to count them out.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the flip side of that, Nick, you're a Lakers fan, so I'm sure. I mean, this has obviously been a great season for them. What do you see as as kind of their path, the key to a championship for them?
Yeah, you guys know I'm a Lakers fan, but I'm also a Jimmy Butler fan, so it's very hard for me to root against Jimmy Butler. The Lakers have just been too dominant in the playoffs so far. They've lost one game in each of the playoff series they've been in. Like, they looked a little shaky maybe in the first games of the first couple series, but outside of that, they've been way too dominant. And I think LeBron and AD will just take it up to another level in the finals, and I could see them probably winning another 5 or 6.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm picking the Lakers to win just because obviously LeBron and AD are so dominant, but also they have this ability to just kind of flip a switch that I don't see any of the other teams in the league really having right now. I mean, the Heat do have it to some extent, but I think the Lakers can kind of turn it on and off in a way that's just really scary. And then I think for the Heat, one of the big keys will be 3-point shooting. They've got a lot of guys who can really knock down threes, and the Lakers, they have that occasionally, but I think they're a little bit more hit and miss when it comes to that. So if the Heat can really shoot lights out, they'll be able to have a chance to give them a run for the money. And the Heat are so deep. I really like them as a team because their player development has been so good. They've been able to have so many homegrown guys make an impact, and that's been really fun to watch. But I don't know. What do you guys think will be the keys to the finals, either for the Heat pulling out the upset or the Lakers coming out with the title?
I think the bench is gonna be a big impact because obviously both teams have really, really good starting lineups, but the kind of production they can get from those second string players in those clutch moments, I think is really gonna determine which team can pull it off.
What about X factors? Maybe obviously there's LeBron and AD, and obviously there's Jimmy and Bam, but what about those players sort of far down the lineup who you think can make a big impact?
For the Heat, I mean, Tyler Hero, he's our age, he's 20, and he's unpredictable. I mean, he dropped 37 points in one of the games against the Celtics, and he is just so confident. He'll step up and take a crazy contested three and knock it down, no hesitation. If they leave him open, and if they give him enough minutes, he can make a big difference.
The Lakers, I'm going to go with 3-point shooting. It's been a hot topic for the team and for the fan base during the playoffs. There have been a lot of role players who haven't been stepping up and making those shots like you would hope them to. So I think if they could really, LeBron's a good distributor. If you could find Danny Green, and Danny Green could actually start making those shots, I think that will really give the Lakers an edge over the Heat in addition to what they already have.
Danny Green is definitely a good pick for the Lakers. I met him at a Bolero back in September, and he was really nice. So hopefully he succeeds. Also, I think KCP kind of goes along the same lines for the Lakers. Also, I think Kuzma, just because obviously we know LeBron's going to be good, we know AD's going to be good, but they need that third scorer, that third guy, and it's been Kuzma at times, but he's kind of disappeared at certain points in the playoffs, I feel like. So he needs to, if he can step up, that'll be really big for them. For the Heat, maybe a little bit of off the board one, and this may reflect my bias as a Warriors fan, but I am going to say Andre Iguodala, just because even though I think he's 36 now, I want to say maybe 37, but still an important contributor for them, still a big guy, and he's he was the LeBron defender for the Warriors, every time they would face him in the finals. And that experience of guarding LeBron and sort of knowing what he's going to do, because Iguodala is as smart a player in the league as you'll find. He knows everybody's offensive tendencies, especially LeBron's. So guarding him and trying to make an impact off the bench will be huge. And he can, and I think in the clincher game, he scored like 15 points or something. So, he can contribute to offense a little bit as well.
He had some back-to-back threes that sort of changed the trajectory of that game. He can be super clutch, so definitely one to watch out for.
All right, let's just go around real quick. Prediction: who wins a number of games? I'm saying Lakers in 6.
I would say the same, probably.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Heat in 7. I want to see a game 7.
I know that would be a lot of fun. These two teams match up really interestingly with each other. So like one game to decide the whole thing between those two would be really cool. Let's kind of move on to a little bit of a playoff recap, kind of reflection. What have been your favorite storylines or moments from these playoffs so far?
I'll start off with probably the obvious one, and that's the Clippers choking very, very badly against the Nuggets. Up 3-1, were a lot of people's favorites to go all the way for a very long time, probably up until they were eliminated. They were a lot of people's favorites to win the whole thing, and then they sort of crumbled right before our eyes.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with the Nuggets having multiple 3-1 comebacks. That's just amazing. Hardly ever happens, and I think that's just shows the resiliency of that team.
The Nuggets are a great pick for best story. I already liked Jokic before these playoffs, and now I just think so highly of him as a player. Same thing goes for Murray. I mean, he just made some unbelievable shots throughout this, and those duels with Donovan Mitchell in the first round were so much fun to watch. Kind of on a related note to that, maybe who's a player who has really, really impressed you, or you really, really like to watch through the first 3 rounds?
I'm gonna say Marcus Smart for the Celtics. He's been my favorite player for a long time, and his stat line typically makes people overlook him, but I think he really showed how good of a shooter he can be in this series. He was having 20-plus point games almost every game over the playoffs. There was one game, I think this might have been against the Raptors, where he had 6 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. He completely changes the game for the Celtics when he's on the court, and he's the hardest working player, diving after every ball, and he's so fun to watch. So
I'm gonna go with a duo. I'm gonna go with Jimmy and Bam, because going into the season, we talked, a big focus of the NBA was all these big duos across the league. There was LeBron and AD, there was Kawhi and Paul George, there was Russell Westbrook and James Harden, and nobody really talked about Jimmy and Bam that much, but they have proven to be sort of 2 of the most effective players in these playoffs that have managed to turn the Heat into a team capable of making the finals, which I don't think a lot of people saw coming.
Yeah, and they go together really well, so it's been cool to see for sure. Obviously, I mentioned my Nuggets guys. Also, I will say we only got to see him for 6 games. Would have been fun to see more, but Luka just going crazy in the first round was fun to watch.
I was gonna say Luka too. That shot.
Yeah. That is a star-making performance just in that game and in the series overall. All right, that is it for this Loyolan Sports Roundtable on the NBA playoffs and the NBA finals. Should be a really good series. We're looking forward to it. Thanks for watching, and take care. We'll see you next time.